Lynn, I think you're echoing.
My microphone is actually turned off.
Okay, it sounds a little bit better.
Right, this is on. Hey, Case, Steve is here too in my office. Just FYI.
All right, I believe we have everyone now.
Yep, I think we're good.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll call the meeting to order for our Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for September 4th, 2020. First item will be a call to order, and then our next will be approval of minutes from our August 10th, 2020 regular session. If the members could look over those and see if there's any changes or anything that needs to be changed or amended. If not, then I'll wait for approval. Is there a motion to accept or the minutes is written?
Nancy, your microphone is off.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, wonderful. We'll move on to agenda item number 3. The public hearing to consider a zone change from R4 multifamily to M medical for property being a portion of lots 2 and 3, block 2 of the Blount Estate subdivision recorded in volume 1404, page 138 of the deed records of Nacogdoches County, Texas, property ID 27684, located at 614 East Star Avenue. This request has been submitted by Christ Episcopal Church. Elena, if you'll give us the details.
All right, let me share my screen. All right, can everyone see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
All right, this request is for approximately 0.29 acres of property located at 614 East Star Avenue. The request is for a change in zoning from R4 multifamily to M medical. The property is located on the south side of East Star Avenue in between Regate Street and Garner Street. There's an existing single-family residence on the property, and the applicant does propose to repurpose that into an office building. The area includes a mix of zoning, including R4 multifamily to the east and south, M medical to the west and south, and then across the street is agricultural, and that property is developed as SFA school facilities and tennis courts and so forth and so on. The property also includes a mix of developed uses. So primarily to the east, you have single family and multifamily rental property. To the west, you have some medical office and a church. And again, to the north, you have SFASU campus. The medical use district is intended to accommodate those business activities that are associated or related to the medical profession. And the medical zoning district is compatible with the zoning in the area and some of those developed land uses. On this screen, you see the comprehensive plan future land use map. The future land use map does identify this property as central city mixed use, which is described as the central core of the city, in and around the traditional downtown, where you have a mix of retail and office and residential and public uses, all in close proximity to each other. The proposed medical zoning district is in line with the land uses that are described in this future land use category. And staff feels that the zoning will be compatible not only with the zoning, but with the future land use plan.
Okay.
When reviewing an application for a zone change, the Planning and Zoning Commission must consider the following criteria as outlined on your screen. And they include compatibility with adjacent land uses. They also include orderly growth and development, making sure that the proposal doesn't adversely impact adjacent properties. It also includes ensuring that the property has supporting facilities, including street access and public infrastructure. It includes the design of drives and parking and landscaping. Also the provision to ensure that there's not going to be any nuisances created by the request. And that, again, the request is in compliance with the comprehensive plan. Staff did send out 7 notices to property owners within the 200-foot notification area. And however, we haven't received any contacts for or against this particular item. And this item is scheduled for the September 22nd City Council meeting. And Mr. Ron Collins, the applicant, is in attendance if the commission should have any questions. All right, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and take any questions.
Does anyone on the commission have any questions for Elena regarding this?
How long ago were letters sent out to people?
The owner notification. Oh, this is one. All right, staff sent out notices on September 3rd.
Okay.
And so the legal requirement is 10 days prior to the public hearing for City Council. We have to send out those property owner notices. Typically, we go ahead and send them out 15 days in advance, just to give it a little bit of a buffer.
Okay.
Any other questions for Elena? Okay. This is a public hearing, so anyone that would like to speak for or against this is welcome to speak on behalf of this agenda item.
And RJ, we didn't have anyone sign up for this item.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions for Ron regarding the property?
I do. Hey, Mr. Collins.
Ken, how are you?
Good to see you. So this property, I'm familiar with the property next door where I think it's the Foot Associates, East Texas Foot Associates are.
Yeah.
I know they have a nice access off of, is that Mound Street there?
Or,
No.
No,
not
it's
Garner.
going to be Star
Garner?
Avenue. Yeah.
Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then how many parking spots do you think you're going to need for this particular facility? Do you have a tenant already kind of lined up, or is it still kind of in the early phases?
Yeah, it's in the early phases. We don't have a tenant lined up at this point. We expect to have, let's see, somewhere, this is kind of rough guesstimate at this point, Ken, but I'm just looking here at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in the back. We're going to do some paving. There is we've kind of done a little bit of a parking plan on this to see how we would do. And Dr. Sal, I have talked to him. There's an existing portion of his property that is actually an old volleyball court, I think, but he's going to allow us to use that and take that into parking. We'll have some kind of a parking agreement with him, and we'll do some paving on it, and then paving in the backyard. We've done a little initial cleanup back there where we can sort of begin to get to be able to work subject to this approval. We might be able to add another parking place in the front. I'm not sure about that yet. There is a tree that borders that. I might report this. There is a tree that borders that sand pit area that on an original drawing that Army Curtis did, it showed that tree was to be removed. We've looked at that tree. We've talked to Dr. Sal. We're going to try to save that tree. It's a really good, nice, full tree. I think we can work around it without any problem and still get our parking places that we plan.
Okay.
Dr. Sal is also going to allow us access via easement by that property that runs, I guess it's the portion of lot 2 that he retained. You know, there's a part of a lot that got split into two pieces at some point. It's the property that's to the east of his office itself, and it has the drive that goes from Star up into that property. And so he's going to allow us easement access for that as well.
Okay,
So
great.
that's kind of a plan.
Mr. Collins, do you foresee this being just one office building or having more than one tenant?
I think it'll only, my vision is it will have one tenant, Stephanie.
Okay.
We would hope to find what you would consider a low volume, type of a business that would be there, something medical related maybe, or something that would fit along the lines of medical zoning. But we wouldn't want to have something with a lot of high volume, because that would have some issues with Mark, I think, and we don't have excessive parking capabilities there. You can see it. So we want to be particular as far as the type of tenant that we might have.
Any other questions for Mr. Collins? Okay. At this point, I'll entertain a motion for or against this agenda item number 3.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda item number 3, which is case file ZON 2020-07, as submitted by the applicant, Christ Episcopal Church.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or raise your hand, I guess. All those opposed, raise your hand. Okay. The motion carries. We'll move on to agenda. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Agenda item number 4. I actually will have to recuse myself regarding this, so I will be turning my microphone and my video off. So Kenny will have to take over.
I will be recusing myself as well.
RJ, just thank you all very much for your assistance on this, and I appreciate you all very much.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Yes.
All right. We're moving on to agenda item number 4. Let me get there real quick. This is consider an ordinance amending the terms within a planned development district within the city of Nacogdoches for lots 1 and 10, block 1, lots 1 and 10, block 2, and lots 1 and 18, block 3 of the Austin Hills subdivision. The request has been submitted by Varen McLemore, and it's case file PD 2020-02.
All right. Thank you, Ken. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the lots are in the existing Austin Hill subdivision. This property was zoned Planned Development District in 2003 with approval of a concept plan. And then in 2004, the applicant came back with a development plan that was approved by council, and essentially is what you see today with the subdivision layout and the streets and lots and uses and what have you. So the majority of the subdivision is residential single family. There is an existing church on lot 1 that recently was approved for a future senior center. And so that was a recent change. But the lots that we're looking at tonight are 6 single family lots that are some of the lots that have yet to be developed within the subdivision. These lots are corner lots, and so they have 2 street frontages. When the PD development plan was approved in 2004, it was approved with the condition that these lots develop under the R3 zoning district development standards, which means that they're subject to single family development, but built under the R3 as far as building setbacks and so on and so forth. So for R3, the front building setback is 20 feet, and then you have 10 in the rear, and then 6 on the sides. One of the conditions that was approved with the development plan was that the side setbacks, those internal side lot lines that are shared between the lots, that setback would be reduced from 6 feet to 3 feet. So that was approved with the development plan in 2004. The applicant is now requesting to come back and reduce the side street setback. So what that means is whenever you have a corner lot that has 2 street frontages, our ordinance says that you have to provide a front setback, a front building setback on both streets. So in this case, you have a 20-foot front setback on Eric Street and Emily Court, and you also have a 20-foot setback on the streets on the side. So when I say, side street, that's really a front setback, but in all regards, it's a side setback. So they're asking for a reduction from 20 feet to 5 feet. And so the base zoning will not change. I'm not proposing any changes in the land use, any changes in the density or configuration of the development. It's simply a change from a 20-foot building setback on that side street to a 15-foot setback. So as you're driving through the development, you would have a consistent character along the street, and it just helps build a product that's similar with the other lots that are on that street. The comprehensive plan does call this property out as single-family residential. The request is in line with the comprehensive plan because they're not requesting any changes to the land use or the base zoning district. Whenever we're in, actually, I apologize. I meant to pull up the exhibit, and since we're here, I can pull it up on my screen. I will do that really quickly. So, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Can everyone see the exhibit on my screen? Okay, so the lots that you see highlighted with the yellow box, those are the lots in question. And you can see that the heavy red line is the new proposed setbacks. So today they would be required to push that building 20 feet back from these side lot lines. And with the change, it would be 15 feet, so just a simple 5-foot reduction. So when reviewing these types of requests, one of the things that we look at that are unique from a regular zone change is that the development plan proposal is in compliance with the concept plan. And so, of course, they're not making any changes to the concept plan. The land uses are staying the same. The layout of the development will not change. And so staff finds that the requested amendment is very minor in nature and is still in compliance with the purpose and intent of the development plan in general. So staff does recommend approval of the request. We did get one contact from a Miss Jo Johnston. She's a resident of the Austin Hill subdivision. She lives on Emily Court, and she just had general questions about the request. And once we explained that it was just a 5-foot reduction for those side streets, then she didn't have any issues with what was being proposed. And that concludes staff's presentation. Sorry about the mix-up. I meant to include the PD exhibit on the PowerPoint, but I think it got lost. But I'll go ahead and conclude my presentation and open it up for any questions. And the applicant, Baron Matt McLemore, is also in attendance if you have any questions.
All right. Does anybody on the commission have a question for Ms. Chafin?
No, I don't.
Nope. Okay. And do we have anyone signed up to speak from the public on this one, Elena?
No, we don't have anyone signed up to speak.
Okay. Is there anyone present who would like to speak on it before we bring Mr. McLemore up? No. Okay. Does anyone have a question for Mr. McLemore? Or is this very straightforward for everybody? Mr. McLemore, I do have one question for you.
Okay.
as far as those lots, I'm assuming it's been difficult for you to develop those, to find a house plan that would work on those. So this will allow you to build houses that are substantially similar to the surrounding lots. Is that what the goal is?
Yes, in fact, 2 of the houses in the back have been built already. It just got missed. And so
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep the continuity of the neighborhood to have something similar. Otherwise, we would have a long, skinny house that may not be that desirable. This
Yeah.
just gives a developer or a homeowner or a home purchaser a little more leeway in the design and planning of a home that they would like.
Okay. And I remember you came in a few months ago for the, I believe it was the rezoning of maybe it was a specific use permit for the, to use the church as a senior center. Is that moving along, or has that been stalled out by COVID?
COVID right now, plus Army's been kind of backed up with all of his schoolwork, from what I've been told.
Yeah.
They do have a preliminary plan that looks like they, hopefully they're going to get started. Last I heard was hopefully within the next 6 weeks on the kitchen addition to the church.
Great. I think that's going to be good. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. McLemore?
I don't have any.
Okay. Well, if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion on this agenda item number 4.
I move that we accept the changes.
Okay. I hear a second.
Miss Nancy Smith is raising her hand as a second.
Okay. So that's 2 of us. Before we vote, any other comments anybody wants to make? No? Okay. So all those in favor of approving of the motion to approve this modification, well, I'm going to use the right terminology here, amendment of the terms within the Plan Development District for the Austin Hills subdivision, raise your hand. I can only see myself. Hold on, I need to change my view, I guess. How many people voted yes?
All of
I
them did.
did.
Everybody did. Okay.
Everyone did, yeah.
All right. I'm assuming there's nobody opposed, but raise your hand if you are. I'll let Elena relay that to me.
Yes, everyone is
right.
everyone is an aye.
All right. It's unanimous. Agenda item number 4 passes. Moving on to, do we have another agenda item? We do not have another agenda item, do we?
We do have one
We
more
do?
agenda item, but it's not a public hearing. It's just
Okay.
it's more of a
Discussion.
it's a discussion and possible action on future agenda items. Ken, I think you were absent for our last meeting when we introduced this item. This is basically an opportunity for the commission to ask any questions about things that aren't related to the agenda or things that aren't posted on the agenda. We can't deliberate on anything that's not posted on the agenda, but if the commission would like to request information on a future agenda item, or if the commission would like to ask questions of clarification or questions about maybe a development around town or something that you saw under construction that you want more information about, this is kind of the time to do that. And we are planning on including a development update in the future agendas where we actually have like a link to the new project that has been submitted. And so you guys can stay abreast of what's happening in the city as far as development and construction and things like that.
Okay.
So there's no action needed. It's more of if you guys have any general questions about anything, if you want to request, presentations for future agenda items, this is the time that you guys can do that.
Okay.
I don't have any at this point.
Yeah, I should have come prepared with something, but I don't have anything off the top of my head.
I don't have any.
Stephanie?
I guess the only thing I can think of, it looks like they're putting water lines or some type of utilities down around King Street, maybe.
Around which street?
King Street?
Yeah, I saw that.
Gas line.
It's a gas line,
Oh, okay. Okay. They've been working on that for a while.
unfortunately.
I blame the engineers anytime it takes a long time.
No doubt.
Is that a repair?
Our city engineer is in attendance, so be forewarned.
Okay.
Is that a repair of it, or are they putting in just a new one?
They're putting in new lines through that whole area.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
All right. Well, I think if you know, I don't know. I know we talked about maybe looking at development along the new what will be the interstate corridor. That may have been a year ago when we talked about that.
Yeah,
That may be the only thing I think would be good to get ahead of and maybe discuss some things we could think about or that we should be planning for or that we should be anticipating when that happens.
mhm. No, that's a great point. We actually issued a request for proposals late last year for a consultant to do like a long range corridor plan.
Mm-hmm.
Plan for future utilities and land use and some other changes in anticipation of that I-69 upgrade. And we did put that on hold, but we are planning on reissuing that here in the immediate future. And so we'll be sending out another RFQ to request proposals from planning consultants. And part of that will be some economic development planning. Part of it will be land use and zoning. Part of it will be infrastructure. And so it'll be a comprehensive look at what that area looks like. What are we missing? What should we plan for? And you guys will be involved in that in every step of the way. So we'll be sure to include you guys on those very, very preliminary meetings, and there'll be a lot of community engagement along with that. So hopefully that'll be coming along sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, any RJ, you want to take it back? Bring it back.
Hey, anybody have any other questions, I guess? If not, I guess we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting. It is 5:31, and we will adjourn the meeting for the planning and zoning of September 14th. Thank you very much, everyone that attended, and appreciate your input. Have a great day.
You guys have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.